Okay, so yesterday we discussed about that class and function. Yeah, class and function, how we declare the class, how we declare the function, what is static function, what is non-static function, and how we declare parameterized function, non-parameterized function. These all things we discussed, and and now we are going to study about that more things, and we are going to study about the S objects. Okay, uh, so before that, let me. I think previously I created a class. Open a class. Yeah, last time I because yesterday I created this class. So okay. So today we discuss about the S objects. So S object, actually S object data type. Yeah, it's a common data type for all the standard and custom objects. Okay, it's a definition of that objects. Means it definition means the actually the each object contains its fields and type of that. What is the type of that objects it contains? So that is called as its definition. Suppose if you have if you have an account or a contact or any of the custom objects, these all contains fields, just like contact contains first name, last name, account contains website, phone number, account number. These all are contains fields. And just like, yeah, you can see that account name, account site, industry, created date, billing state, okay, phone. These all are the its fields, and so these all are called as a configuration of that account. Okay, whenever account is defined, its configuration can also be defined at the same time. So these all concepts accumulate and come into a single point called S objects. S objects is we can say that S objects are the term related to that all. If you are to create instance of a account or a contact or a campaign, these all comes from the S objects concept. Means S objects, we can say that S object is a term that it will include all of that custom and standard objects, and we specify one of them whenever we need to use that. We will use one of them and will use in our coding and all those things. So let's have a look that how we work with the S objects. Or okay, so for the S objects, first let me show you that how it's working. Before that, let me create a method. I will create a method that public static void my S object definition. Okay, so S object will behave in a way that suppose I need to work with the contact. So what I will do that I will write the contact. Okay, contact or some contact, and then just like we are declaring the any of the our integer or any other, contact will also be a kind of a S object data type. Means it's a kind of a S object data type. So we will use similar in a similar way. We just use the contact, and then we declare its name, just like we are declaring. If you have to declare an S object, means then we have a S object name, where S object variable, S object, we can say that, and then equal to new, and then we have S object name. What will be the name? Okay, and this. So S object name can be anything. It can be account, contact, cus, uh, custom object, standard object. Okay. So it can be anything. So as a simple that we need, if we need to declare that in the same way, that we just need to a subject name, a subject variable name, and then equal to new means we are just like the same that as we are declaring other things, we are declaring map, set, list. These are things we are declaring. Then in the same way, we are also declaring a subject, and then it's variable, and then variable, or we can say that a subject a subject variable name, and then we have its memory initialization, okay, or memory allocation. Okay, here we allocate a memory to them. So what I'm going to do that I will just say contact cont it let it be a variable name equal to new. So when I declare this line, it lets me to access whenever I declare write this line, what it will do, it will give me an as object, or we can set account object, yeah, sorry, contact object as an instance, and I can from this I can manipulate any of that field that is related to that this particular contact or this particular as object. Okay, so suppose I need to work with this. So what I will do that means basically first of that basically why we are using S object. Uh, we are using S object to perform the DML operations. Means usually we are using S objects to perform the DML operation. So S objects.
What is DML operation?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
I think SQL DML, data manipulation language.
Yeah, data manipulation language. Anyone who is familiar to know that means DML is the data manipulation language. Means data manipulation means insert, update, delete, and upsert. Okay, these are four commands are referring to this DML. DML is a data manipulation language. Means we are changing the data. We are changing the data in terms of anything. Either we're inserting a data. Means operations are all the operations are related to a particular data. Okay. Yeah. We are in Salesforce. It's not in the in the database. We also have DML and DDL statement also, data definition language. Yeah. If anyone remember or knows that thing, it's okay. Means it's there is also in a database there DML DDL statements are present. Okay, so from that it's comes from. So DML it's or in the Salesforce we are using DML. For DML it means that we are manipulate the data. Means it just to manipulate the data. It's a term that in which these four terms are comes considered whenever where we are working with the either we inserting a data, either we updating a data, or we deleting a data, or upserting a data. Insert, update, delete, you all are familiar. Means either insert or data. Upsert is means that if it is it will checking for the update. If that record exists, then it will update, and if that record does not exist, then it will go into insert. It's a combination of update and insert. Okay, so DML is the means upsert is the combination of update and insert. Means it will whenever we are doing upsert, it will first look for the update. If update is not going to be happen, then it will go insert that record. Okay, so I will use this object first. I will use this as object to insert a contact record. So what I will do that I will write the cont dot. So whenever we write contact, it's a property of this developer console that it will automatically open a pop-up screen in which I can see all the fields that are available in the contact object. Yeah, I can see that it's have all those fields are available in the contact object. So I will write a first name, okay, and then I put the value. Okay, just like I put the value. Okay, and then we have a contact have a last name, because last name is a required field. So let's me open. Okay, I will put these two variables, or I can also add email. Okay, email is the and phone. Okay, I added these four fields values. How I added these four fields value? I just cont means object's name as objects object, we can say that, or we can as object something like that, means as objects variable name dot. And whenever we create a dot of that as object variable name, what it will do, it will allow us to access all the fields available over there. Fields can be custom and standard, means fields can be custom and standard, and we just have to put the value for that field. Putting a value for that field, it means that if it is a string, then we are using the inverted commas, and if it is a what we can say that if it is a number, then we directly put the number. And let me check that which contact field is a number. You can see there is a data type, so I'm just checking that any currency or so contact does not have any
For example, phone is it
no phone is
string or
phone.
number?
Phone is a string. Phone is a string. Let me create a field.
Siraj, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused. Contact is an object, right?
Yeah.
Out of box object. At the same time, it's a class that we create an object out of it.
Yeah.
Then how can something be a class at the same time an object?
Object is a term defined as that. It's a term. Actually, it's not a. We can say that it's an S object. It's not means we defined as a term. It's a term for that. It's not a. Don't confuse with the object that we are declaring in a while we are declaring as contact and then it's object name. That is totally different.
Okay, we will
So
say it's object, but actually it's a class in terms of Java, like coding perspective. It's a class.
Yeah, it's a
class type. And one more question: when we create an object from contact, that object is out of box or custom object?
If you can create an object from a contact, it's out of box, because it has all the property of that the contact have.
Okay, but if I create an object from custom object, meaning anything that you create, that will be a custom object, right?
Yeah, that will be a custom object.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I'm creating a currency field.
All of records we are creating on the UI, they are actually S objects, right?
all of the records are not as subjects. All of the objects that we are creating are considered as subjects.
Like
Records are,
whenever
records
we
are,
create a record on UI, aren't we creating a new S object?
means whenever we create an object, then that object is called as a S object. Record is a different thing. Record is a via S object we can create a record, but it's not an S object. Okay. S object is a definition of a means. Okay, it's a common term for that. Any standard and custom object. And this contact is a S object. This contact is a S object. And we are using this contact is a S object, and these are its records, means its values. It's nothing. It's a S object field values. We can say that means if we are talking this value, this is the S object phone field value. Means contact phone field value. It's not an S object.
But if we create an object from contact, that's not an S object?
If we create an object from a contact, it's a definition of that. That will not called as a S object.
No, I mean,
definition.
Isn't it the same thing? Like you click contacts at first and you click new. Isn't it doing same thing? Like you are creating a new record here, and on the code part you are doing same thing whenever you.
I'm using S object to create a record. Means I'm using an S object to create a record because S object contains the definition of a any object. That's why I'm using S object to create a record, not S object. This is not an S object. This is because means this is it is the definition of S object which is help us to create a new record.
Okay, so in your coding screen, like, can you go to your coding screen, please? Like in here, like contact, new contact. Is this creating an S object, or what do you call this process?
Actually, this contact is an contact is a term which comes from an S object. Means whenever we deriving from means S object, means we can say that S object is a term that is generic for each and every standard and custom objects. So whenever we have to get a specified, means suppose actually the thing is that instead of doing this, we can also use something like that. S object cont object equal to new. We can use this also, no issue in that. If I cut and paste it, it will also work. It will also do the same thing. But it will let you confuse because you are not familiar with the S object's definition. Once we get familiar with the S object, then I will show you that how this S object related to all of these objects. Actually, it's a general term. So actually S object is the term that contains all of their standard and custom objects. I'm just using one of that standard objects to define that how the configuration, how we use the S object's configuration to create a record.
So here you are still calling this one creating a record?
Yeah, I'm also calling this one for creating a new record.
Not creating an object.
No, not creating an object.
Yeah, because it looks similar in Java to creating an object from a class. This
I think you are creating an object, but you are not creating an S object.
Yeah. Here we are creating, that's the correct catch. We are creating an object, but we are not creating an S object. We are taking the S object definition and use it here. Means these are the first name, last name, email are the definition of this contact S object, or we can set contact object. So don't confuse with the term. Actually, the term object, I thought that the term object, the word object will let you confuse that. Actually, the word object in Java, it's called as classes object, but the word object in a Salesforce, we are using the term for that our standard objects and custom objects. Actually, this is called S objects term. We have to use that instead of objects. So that's why you are getting confused.
And Suraj, in order to call them, for example, first name, like cont object, that first name, in order to call any method like this, we have to create field in the Salesforce, right? Or can we directly create method and call here?
No.
Okay, these are not methods, these are the fields from Salesforce.
Yeah, these are not methods,
okay.
They are just fields.
Okay. So we are creating this field in the Salesforce, not here.
We are using
in order to do the operation, we have to first create the field, then use here.
Yeah, we are using that fields. Okay. We are not creating that fields. We are using those fields to create a record via Apex.
Okay, I got. Thank you.
We are using those fields, or we are using S objects to create a record, create, update, delete, or upsert a record using Apex. Means in Apex, we can say that. Because right now we know that we are able to create a records from the UI, but now we are going to take an example that how we create a records from the Apex class. So for creating a records from an Apex class, we know that what is the S object, how we use the S object. So all the objects are come into a same concept called S objects, and we are using S object concept to create a records, because S objects contains the definition of every object and its field name. So whenever we need to work with that, whenever we need to work with creating a record from any of the objects, or we can set S objects, so either be a contact or an account or a custom or a standard object, or whatever with that. So whenever we need to create a record, we need to go first look at its definition. Definition means what are the fields contains in it. So we just create an object, and then we just use its dot, and all the field name are accessible here, and we are assigning values to that field name. Yeah, we are assigning value to this field name. We are doing nothing, we're just assigning value to this field name. Okay, I created a field called my salary. Okay, now there is one more thing, that you need to consider here, that whenever we are using a custom object, means for the admin, we are focused only on the label of that. Just let me show you. For the admin, we are only considered that what will be the label of that API name. And mainly admin does not have to worry about that field name. He has to worry about what is the label of that field. But right now, while we are working as a developer, you have to consider only about the API name. So only about the API name. So what will be the API name? You have to focus on that. So since I had created a custom field, so I have to look at its API name. API name is custom. What will be the means field? It's API name. It's my salary __c. Yeah, this __c defines that it is a custom field. Okay, __c defines that it is a custom field. So let me copy that and use it here, and then equal to this way. We come up here, and then once we finish up all the values.
Also, this contact cont OBG, is this API name of this record, or what is
this one?
Online
this is not the API name. It's just an instance of that S object. It's an instance. We're creating an instance of that subject. We're creating
like
an instance of this contact.
Whenever we are creating on the UI, is it automatically giving a name to each record, or do we see that name?
Whenever we
create on the UI a record. In here we are given the name, right? On UI,
yeah, here
how does
API, but in the UI we are not seeing __ C. Here is the we can say here we only see the label of that. Whatever with the label, just like it's showing the my salary. It's not showing my salary _ C. But in the as a developer, you have to focus on its API name. Whatever be its API name. So API name is different. API name might be different than what it's labeled. So, and once you finished, what you have done that what you have done here, let's put a debug over there so that you can check that how its S objects looks like. So start debug. Sorry, contact object. Okay, I'm saving this class. Now I need to call this method in the execute anonymous window. So I'm just going to call. I will just like the same way dot. Since it's a static method, I can directly call it here, and then I will hit the execute. Yeah, you can see that it's a it says that this is the debug. Yeah, it says that it's a contact and it has the fields that are, it's something like that key and value pair, means first name has this value, last name, email, phone, and my salary. It's available up here. Okay. And it's defined that what is that as object, or we can say that its contact is as object. So it's working as. So
you are creating new record, right? This way.
I'm creating a new record, but before that, I'm just showing you that how it looks like in logs. Means as I told you that whatever we are working in the Apex, just always see how always take a look at that in a logs. Okay. So that's why always whenever you're doing anything, just see a log how it looks like.
Suraj, maybe a simple question. Why do we start with the static void instead of something else like a void?
Actually, I don't want to initialize the instance of the class. It should be actually if I put the static, I will write a single line and I can call that.
Yeah, can you show that too, please? Like, how do you do that?
At that time, I need to declare an object. Actually, let's increase my steps, so that's why.
Okay, just not.
Okay, that is also behave the same. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
So when you execute this code by adding this new record, so you already reflect these values into the Salesforce under contact?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
So when we go to the contact, we cannot see this new record with these values, right?
Yeah, because it's not inserted in the database. That's why you can't see the record.
Okay, I see. Okay. Thank you.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to.
Suraj, sorry for that. While creating record here, do we have to fill the required fields? For example, in the password, if there is required field, we cannot save it without like with empty, right? Here also same, right?
Here also is the same. Yeah, all the validation rules or the database rules that you have defined, it's also working up here.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so let's first show me that. Then I will show that how the validation rules are coming, how the validation rule cause issue while working up here. So I'm just going to insert this record. So I'm type insert, and then whatever the object name I will type up here and put the semicolon. So when I do up here, it's got inserted into the database. So let me execute this method. So it's executed. I think I haven't saved this record. I haven't saved the class. Yeah, I did not save the class. Let me save it. I saved the class. Let me execute anonymous, and then I executed this. Now it got saved and it got inserted. For checking that, let me go to the contact and click up here. We can see the Alan Parker, the record that I created, it's got inserted up here in the database via Apex. Via Apex, I am able to insert this record into the database. Okay, now as I told that there is an important thing that we can, while creating a record, means while creating a contact record, we can't, there is no, means we can't empty the last name. Suppose I empty the last name and save, it will give me an error. Okay, so let's do the same thing, how it's work up here. Let's, instead of creating a record, means instead of adding value in the last name, I just commented out, means I'm not adding any value in the last name. And let me do Alan new. I hit save, and after saving, what I'm going to do, I'm executing this record. Let me execute, and once I execute, it throws me error that required field is missing. Yeah, required field is missing, last name is missing. So any of the validation rules, if it is present, it's throw the error. Yeah, it's throw the error that we need to fill up the value before inserting any record into the Salesforce. Okay, any record, if we are inserting any record.
What about the name of cont obj? You use it one time. Do you need to change it every time, like because you already inserted, or is it only getting the values, not getting the variable name? Like this cont obj, you use it to record one record, right? Now, if you try to insert another record every time, you can use same structure.
Yeah, we can use the same structure.
New records.
To creating a new record,
the name of this.
It's always be
same. Not important, right?
Name is not important. We can put anything. You can put C over here. It's no issue. Name is not important.
No. He's asking about what if I want to insert a record again, then what we have to do, like I have to change the object name which we declare there, and or we can just insert the another record. We can just insert the another record if in the same method we want to create any one more than one records, then we can create, and in last we just insert the all records. Means we just use the insert object.
So there is no need to redeclare any object's name. Means this, there is no need to redeclare that. We can use the same one to insert a new object. Sorry, insert a new record. We are inserting a record, contact record.
After this insert line works, it doesn't keep this object in anywhere. So it's already recording it to the database and it's done. Next time you can rerun this code and it will record another record. It won't affect like record itself. Like you already have one object called this one. It's interacting with database basically. Right?
Yeah. So when I do second time I call it, it will not affect the existing one. it will create a new record. Just like new, if I call it new, it doesn't mean that this Alan Parker will become Alan New Parker. It doesn't mean that. It will create a new record with with these values. Let me save it and execute. Once I execute, I will check it, and you can see there's a new record to get created. It's got Alan Parker, Alan New Parker. Okay, so as objects, it's a means we can say I'm just declaring this thing for getting the instance of a contact. It is we can say that it is an instance of a contact. This instance contains first name, last name, email, phone, salary. All these fields are contains, or any of the other fields are also included in that. Means since we have so many fields, if you look at, there are so many fields available up here. So we can use that fields name directly up here and assign the values. And then once your assigning values wrap up or finish, just do, if you want to insert, just click on hit the insert, and it got inserted into the database. Okay, so we have some few more.
Can we update the already created record?
Yeah, we can update the already created record. As I see that you can perform these operations.
Yeah, so we use update method here.
Yeah, we have update method.
Okay, thank you.
There's one more question. Sorry, we asked too many. If we are gonna call this method again, the name should be unique or not? Like how new record is gonna be created?
There is nothing.
Same name.
Yeah, it will create a same name record.
Okay.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
I will execute it. It will create a new record with the same name.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So this is, and suppose we have a few more types of fields are available up here. Sometimes we are working with the fields that we have some more types of fields, just like we have an account, which is a lookup type. So yeah, you know that this account field is a lookup type field. So we can't go and just write the account. Lookup type has been treated as something different. Okay, it's not lookup field. Look, when we are giving a value in a lookup field, it will treat it as something different. Let me show you how it's working. So whenever we are working with the lookup fields, it means that we are creating a relationship with that objects to some parent object. Okay, whenever we are working with the lookup field, means whenever we are assigning a value into a lookup field, suppose I am assigning edge communication to this Alan Parker value. So what it will do, that we are creating a relationship to some of the parent, means we are creating a relationship to the parent account object, to this contact. Okay, so when I hit the save, it's got related with that account, and edge communication got related with the account. Sorry, this Alan Parker record will get attached to that or get related with that this account record. So suppose I need to do that thing in my Apex coding, means I need to create a relationship between, or I need to not create a relationship, I need to means I need to make the relationship. Okay, or I need to populate the values into relation in the lookup type field. Then what we need to do, let me show you that. I am using the same method, and then I will copy and paste it.
Siraj, I have one more question. Sorry. Okay. So we used insert method. If we want to use update method, for example, but there are two records and the same name, same data, same everything. Which one is going to be updated? The last one we created?
Once we talk about the update, then at time this will be clear. Don't jump the topics. Just stay with it. Actually, once we are working with the update, because update is work with some criteria. It's not updating exactly. It's work with the ID of that field.
Okay.
Uniqueness, any unique field on the basis of that unique field. Okay. So once we discuss about the update, then at that time we discuss all those things. Just put your questions or put your notes at some place, so it's no issue.
Thanks.
So S object with lookup. Let's make this LKP lookup. So S object with lookup, I'm defining a method. So I'm using the same thing. I'm just adding a contact obj. Now, for populating a value into a lookup field, I need to first take a look at that how the lookup field looks like inside the field definition. So let's go to the field and relationship of that object. You can see here, it's showing account name, and here is account name. That's okay, but its API name is account ID. Okay. Yeah, its API name is account ID. So it means that we are going to use a dot account ID. Now the other thing comes up when we are working with the lookup. It's not work with the name of that record. It works with the ID of that record. Okay, that's why it's showing that account ID or contact ID. So whenever we are working with the lookups, we are not able to store, we are not able to access the lookup that parent record. Yeah, actually this is edge communication or whatever with that. It's a parent record. It's a parent record of this. It's a parent record for this contact record. So if I open that, it's a parent. It's a kind of a record. So whenever we are working with the lookups, it asks for the ID, not for the name. So let me put a note that when we are working with the lookup, we need to focus on the ID of the parent record. Okay, parent record. Yeah, we need to focus on the ID of the parent record. Okay, this is the important point, that we need to focus on the ID of the parent record and nothing else. Okay, neither the name or anything. We just need to focus on the ID of the parent record and nothing else. So what I'm going to do that, it's here. So it means that here I need the ID. So how I get the ID? I just come up here and copy this ID and paste up here. Okay. So I just copy this ID. In order to maintain the relationship, I need the ID of that record to which I need to make a relationship with this contact record, So for that, I just need the ID. So what I do, I will come up here and copy that here it is showing me the ID account / this is the ID of that record. So I just copy the ID of the record and come up here. I pasted that ID and just do the same thing. And I'm going to change its name so that it will be attached to parent. So what I'm going to do that, I'm just copy this method name, and instead of here, I just pasted my method name and hit the execute. Once I execute, a new record get inserted. And let me show you. Yeah, you can see that a new record get inserted and it get attached to that account record. Yeah, it get attached to this account record. So whenever I need to do a lookup relationship, what I need to do that, I need to focus on that ID of that object. ID, what will be the ID of that record? Sorry, not object. I need to focus on the ID of that record. So what I need to do how do I find the ID? I just if I need to find this edge communication ID, I need to just come up here and find the edge communication and copy the ID and paste up here. So to create a record.
Can you show how to find ID again, please?
You just need to open that record, and from the URL you will find the ID.
Okay, URL. Okay.
Siraj, I'm confused again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But edge communication is a record, not an object.
Yeah.
So we create a relationship between two objects. Now we are creating relationship between
two records.
Two records, right?
Yeah. So when we are creating a relationship between two objects, then we at that time we focus on the lookup field. No? At that time we focus on the lookup field. But right now we are creating relationship between two records. So I'm focused on the record.
I did not know that we can create lookup relationship between two records. Okay.
Yeah, this is how we we got that. We are really making a relationship between two records.
Okay.
So that's why I'm focused on the records.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so this way, either if we want to make a relationship with any other, suppose I want to make a relationship with Express Logic and whatever with that, and transport. So what I will do, I will commit record, and I will copy this record ID and go up here and paste up here, and let me change its name so that attached to what is that export.
It's attacked.
Oh, sorry, attacked. Okay, leave it. Sorry, I will put the execute, and what it will do when I come up here, you can see it's got populated its value. So ID, whenever we are making a relationship between two records, what I need to do that I need to put ID of that record. We need to put the ID of that record here. We need to put the ID of that record. So ID of that record. Okay. So this, and there are some more fields are typed, just like when we are we need to work on that pick list. Where is my pick list? Is any pick list? There is no pick list of, yeah, here's the lead source is a pick list, level is a pick list. So lead source, so whenever we are working with the pick list values, okay, whenever we are working with the pick list type data type, apart from that because apart from this, every data type is itself available, because we have a for a data type date, so you can directly assign a data type, because just like we are a string, so we are assigning a string. We have a double or integer, we can easily assign, and if we have a date, we can assign. Suppose we have a date, let's take a look of a date, birth date. How we assign a birth date? So contact object dot birth date, and then we, as you know that, as I told you that whenever we are assigning a date, if I go back to my some previous notes, you know that date, it's something like that new date, and in that date we are passing three values: year, month, and year, month, and day. Yeah, remember? So it's the same thing. Okay. New date dot new instance. I think something I missed. Let me check the date class. I forgot. New instance. Yeah, date dot new instance. I forgot. Okay, I will put date dot new instance, and it will add this date to that field. Okay, and suppose let me show you. Then we are work with the now I'm going to this. I'm hitting the save. I'm hitting the execute last. So whatever the last method it got executed, I come up here and put the refresh. It's created, and when I look its birth date field, where is it? Yeah, you can see the date value, bordered, it's got populated up here. Now we have a, here I come to show you that pick list value. How we are acting on the pick list value. For the pick list value, and in the same example, I will show you a pick list, how we work with the pick list and how we work with the checkboxes, similar. So this here we have a pick list value. For the pick list value, we need to first take a look at the what are the values this field accept. So let's go to the here, and I come up here. Okay, you can see that this field pick list values have two here. It has a values and it has an API name. Let me check. Let me change the. Let me change its API name to something like this. Okay. Now it changes API name to something like this. Now I'm going to. So whenever we have to work with the pick list, we have to consider these things. Means we have to also take a look at the values and API name. Let me first add this. Suppose first, if we need to add any of the pick list value, I need to copy. I need to just add the values which is available from here. Okay. So I just copy this, and then and also we have some inactive values. This thing you know that means we have a for the pick list field we have some active and inactive values. Suppose these fields are active at some time, and then I may deactivate that value, so that value will not further available for making any further available for the pick list. So that's the thing coming up here. So for the phone inquiry, I come up here, and then this up, and then I also look at the what is my next. If I need to store any checkbox such that do not call, so I will come up here, cont obj dot do not call. For adding any any checkbox type value, we have only two values are available, true and false. So we just use true. It's directly we can route true. We can also use for true and false, anyone. These two values are accepted by this, so we can use true. Just like directly we can write the true up here and it will get populated. And then we have one more type of field, we can say, yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Let me save and
Siraj, what if checkbox is male or female, something like that, or something else? Not true.
That's not a checkbox. It's a pick list. That
oh, this is pick list you are doing?
No. Actually, if it's saying male or female, then it means that it's a pick list. It's not a checkbox. Checkbox accept only two things: true and false.
But in real life, we have some checkboxes. Okay, then.
If you have a checkboxes, then it will say two fields: male true or checkbox female true. Something like that means it cannot be.
Okay.
It will accept either one of the value. So I'm just going to execute. Okay, you can see that phone inquiry got populated, and one more thing, it is do not call. Might be it's not added in the layout. Let me add on the layout. Okay, do not call. I'm adding this so to here. Save it. email, then we have address, reports to. Okay, it's some different layout. Yeah, this one. Number of application. This is the layout. So I'm adding up after the email, and then I put the save. And make sure it's not populating. Okay, ma'am. Let me refresh one more time. Else I need to log out and log in. Whoa. Okay, it's not. I'm not sure why it's not coming up there. It is here, but it's not there. But it's, yeah, it's something like that. It will populate up there, and whatever the checkbox, it's if it's assigned its true value, it's showing the true value up here. But right now it's not populating. I'm not sure why. So that's this is the way how we assign a values to how we assign a value to the different kinds of fields. So different kind of fields. So we have if we have a lookup, we have to assign. If we have a lookup, then we have to assign its ID. If you have a birth date, then we assign date.new instance or any of the date available that we can assign. If we have a leads, means if you have a pick list, then we have to assign a value that is available in their all the fields are all the pick list values that are available. And then if you have a Boolean type, or we can set up checkboxes, then we have to assign true and false value directly. So in this way, we assigning a value to a record or value to a record, so that we can perform any operation, something like insert, update, and delete. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask, else we come back after 10 minutes.
Right. Maybe I missed that part, but I am like, I want to ask you this. If I am able to create a record from the Salesforce, why do I need to create from here, Apex?
Because you are a developer.
Yes, but there should be purpose doing that, because I am able to do that from there.
Yeah, you are able to do that from there, but you got a requirement that might be you are designing a custom pages. Yeah, might be you are designing any custom page or any custom menu, because Apex will only work when you have to go for some custom solution. So if you go for a custom solution, any of the out of the box will not work. So at the time you have to.
Yeah. Because these are the basics. That's why I think it's not making sense to me. But later on, I will understand more, I think.
No, actually the thing, as I told you that earlier, that so administrator has to focus on why means do not have to do not write to code, means he has to just propose a solution that anyhow it is possible with some standard solution or some small customizing solution. Means we can customize this Salesforce and reach to that solution, but might be there is some situation that we can't achieve that business solution via any of the customization or any of the out of box method. At that time we have to move to the custom solution, and when we move to the custom solution, each and every piece will go into the custom. Means if we are creating a record, then it will also become a custom. We can't follow any of the standard. So this is the issue. Means if we are proposing a custom solution, then everything will become custom. That's the.
Okay. Thank you.
That's why a developer has to know everything, that how we create a record, how we update a record, how we insert a record, how we delete a record via this Apex. And then, because these are only things that we are performing with the Apex, means these are the 4 things that we are performing with the database. Means if you look at the overview, that we are performing only these 4 things. We are performing only insert, update, delete, and upsert with the database. Nothing else, nothing more. There is nothing more operation.
Okay, yeah, I know that like for the custom solutions we are using the Apex, but here, like, since these are the basic things, it doesn't make sense to me. But I think for the complicated issues, it will make sense to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, these are the basic things. That's why it looks like hey, I can do it from here. Then why I'm doing it from? Actually, it's a understanding purpose, because when you are reached to some complex situation, then you are not going to see the basics that how it's working. We just have to know that how it's working. Then when we move to any complex situation, then we just have to follow what we have learned in the basics.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
Are we on break, or now are we going to break?
Now we are going to break.
Okay.
Okay, so we discuss about that thing that we are able to insert a record, we are able to populate the values, and we can populate the values in a contact objects. So here we talk about the how we insert the record. Now I'm going to talk about that how we update an existing record. So in order to update any existing record, for insert, you are all clear, na? How we insert a record. Yes or no, or you are still not?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, for insert we are clear. So I'm moving to the update. In order to update the record, what we need to do, that we need to focus on the uniqueness. Means update will only happens on the basis of the unique field. Okay, so update will only happen on the basis of unique. It means that suppose I need to update a record. So how a system will know that how the system will know that I need to update the record on which basis? First question comes up that in the mind, that on which basis. So that's why whenever we are focusing on the updated record, then at that time we need to focus on the what makes that record to unique, what makes that record to be identified so that I can update that record. So for updating a records, I need to first identify the record, and system to be identify the records, I need to choose the uniqueness that which that value it become the unique. So Salesforce provide a field, two types of field. First is ID and second is external ID. EXTER, external ID. Two types of fields are provided by the Salesforce that stores the unique value in it. Okay, so Salesforce provides the two fields. First is ID, second is external ID that stores the unique values for it. So for updating a records, we use these two fields for in order to update a record. Okay, so whenever we need to update a records, what we need to that we need to focus on that external ID or ID of that record. External ID or ID of that record means what will be the external ID and what is the ID of that record. If we are not able to capture that ID, then we focus on the external ID. Actually, the external ID is the ID generated by the legacy system, as we discussed earlier. That external ID is the ID that is generated by any of the legacy system. That whenever the legacy system tried to insert a record into the Salesforce, so in order to map that record, it used an external ID field so that it can be inserted or updated. So that's why the external ID is either we use the ID or external ID of the record to update that record. So let's check how we going to use those fields. So I'm at public void update contact record. Okay, update of contact record. So for updating a contact record, as I know that for updating a contact record, we need ID of that field. So I will first create an instance. Yeah, I will first create an instance. In that instance, I will put the ID. Okay, and since I need to update, suppose I need to update, suppose I need to update this this contact. So I will come up here, copy this ID and then paste it up here. Okay, and then I will now it's create an instance, and it comes as you can say that now it comes in a mode that now it's able to update. So if I change any of the values, suppose I copy and paste, suppose I copy this field value and paste up here, and then and make changes. Suppose Alan updated, okay, and Parker 123. I will write phone number 788. Yeah. So I make changes in the field value. It's like the same thing, just like we are doing in the insert. It's behave as the same thing, but the only change is that for update a record, we need that in unique field value. That is here it is an ID. So we have to specify ID, and then I will put the values of the fields that I need to populate, and then I hit up, then I write update and then that object name. Okay, and then save. Let's call this method.
Siraj, why don't we use account ID? Can't we do that? Instead of ID. Instead of ID, using record ID of the record.
Instead of using, you want to use account ID.
Yeah.
Account ID is not a unique field. Two contacts can be have the same account ID.
Okay.
That's why unique. It's unique is an important thing.
Okay, got it. Thank you. In that case, if account ID is not unique, when you do a lookup relationship, then with which one it's gonna make a lookup relationship? Or I am confused.
Yeah, you are confused. You have to click confused.
Each record has unique ID, so whenever we are choosing this ID, it's always unique.
We are updating the record.
I'm not talking about the above. We did lookup relationship, right? Based on the account ID.
Actually, whenever we creating account, more than one, whenever we creating the contact, more than one contact can be related to a single account. So in above case, we just attach that contact with an account. So we can we can just choose the account ID. But whenever we update any particular record, so in that case we cannot go with the account ID, because a single account have more than one contact. So whenever we updating the contact object, we have to choose the contact ID, so we can easily update that record.
I understood that one. What I am saying in the above, we created a lookup relationship based on the account ID, right?
Yeah.
So we are so if the account ID, same account ID are in two records.
Yeah.
We are creating a lookup relationship with two different records.
Yeah, we can we can create two record with the same account name. No issue with that. It's just about we are connecting that contact with any account. But so it's not about the uniqueness.
It's like bookstore has different books. That kind of relationship, I think so.
Many relationships, something like that. Because
we're just creating the relationship over there.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so back to, I'm just adding an ID and then I just updating a record. So let me execute this method. I'm executing this method. Once it executed, this is the record whose ID I just copied. I just need to refresh it. When I refresh it, all the updated values get populated, because you can say updated, and since I change the phone number, it's also get changed. Okay, the same thing means it's a similar means if you want to update the relationship, what you have to do, just you have to copy and paste, and what will be the new relationship you want, you just have to, since it is attached to what is that, express and logistic. Suppose I need to update to some other relationship, what I will come up here, I just come up here, copy the ID. So because the ID is important, so I come paste up here and hit the save it, and then save it, and then I execute this statement. So what it will do, the contact here, that contact get updated and its new account get populated up here. So what I trying to say that here we can update the record, and updating a record can only be done on the basis of a unique field, and Salesforce itself provide only two fields. But it's not about the value, it's about the unique fields. Unique fields are only, there are two types of unique fields, either be a record ID of that field or a external ID of that field. Means both, means, or we can say the update is only done on the basis of an ID. Means on the basis of ID we can do the update of a record, and only two fields that have a property of ID. One is a record ID, second is the external ID. These two fields have a property to store a right ID, and on the basis of those two fields we are updating a record. Now since we don't have any external ID fields in a contact, so right now we can I can show that. Means or I can create a call. Let me create a external ID field.
What does external ID means? Like
external ID is just an ID that a legacy system or any third-party system used to insert update record into this means used to update insert or update a record in the Salesforce. And it's a custom field, nothing else. It's a custom field. And but you have to check this for checkbox.
Okay, it's also a unique, but it's coming from third-party ID.
Yeah, it's coming from third-party ID.
Okay, it could be like social security number kind of thing.
Yeah, it could be like social security number, so that I can uniquely identify a contact or something on the basis of that.
Okay.
So I created a field, and let me come to that contact. Here is that, and let me add a unique number in this external field ID. I added the 1 2 3 4 A B C D. Okay, I save it. I save it. What is the
Should it be number only, or?
No, it's a text, so it can be saved. Let me switch to classic. I don't know what happened. No, it's not saved. I'd make the text. Saving. It's saving up here. I don't know why it's not saving there. Switch back to the. That's why sometimes I just put the external ID over up here. Okay, so now it's an external ID. So now here, instead of ID, I will write external ID, and I need to check what its field name. Yeah, external ID underscore C. Okay, and what is the value of that external ID? It's 1 2 3 4 ABCD. Okay, that's it. So I put an external ID, and when we are updating on the basis of external ID, so a small change I need to make up here, that I commented out, and then I will just have to put that external ID field up here. It tells that while performing an update operation, it tells the Salesforce to while performing an update operation, what it has to do, that it has to check that field. Where is the extra? Nothing, update. That's not behaving. I think that is the ID. You need to specify the ID, but I need to specify that on the basis of external ID. You need to specify. Or it's work with only with the list of records. I think it's work only with the list of records, not. Okay, I just gone. External IDs work only with the list of records. While we are working with the list of records, then I will show that it's not working with the single objects. It's work with the list of objects. When we are working with the bulk records, then external ID will work, else it will not work. So it works with the list of records, not for the single record. It's not working. Means for the single object, it's not working. When we are working with the list of records, means then at that time I will show that how the external ID will work. Right now we just have to focus on the basis of ID. We can update a record. Okay, so and if we need to update a relationship, we just have to put the same way as we are doing up here, that account ID. And then account ID, if I need to update a relationship, what I need to do, I just have to change the ID of that record on the basis of that, because lookup accept only ID. So I will just change the ID and it will change the relationship. Okay. So in this way, we update a record or update a record that is already existing in a system. Suppose I need to, the last thing I need to upsert a record, then we move to the delete. Upsert a record, it means that first is look for the update, and then if it's not found, then it do the insert. So update, as I discussed, that update is done on the basis of ID. So it will look for the update. Yeah, it will look for the updating of the record, and then if it is not found, then it will do the upsert. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, actually it's working. So yeah, it will look for the update, and if it is not found, then it will do the insert. So how it will work, let me show you. Upsert. Okay. Upsert. Sorry. Yeah, upsert, and upsert. Now, upsert has also a property. It looks for a uniqueness of that field. Means it's work with any of the unique field. It's work with any of the unique field. To which on the basis of that. So let's see an example that how upsert will work with the ID field. Then we move to some other fields. So I will put an ID, and I will just change this method. Let me save it. Yeah, I upsert and I executed that. Let me make changes so that you will know. Yeah, you get upsert happen, and it's got updated. Now in this one, I think. Let me check. Might be external is working with this. So I'm changing this external to this Ctrl Z, and 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCD. Yeah, I got confused with update and upsert. Okay, so that's the thing that we can upsert a record on the basis of any external field or a unique field. So what it will check that uniqueness of that. If that external ID found, then it will update that record. Else, it will insert that record. So let me ext ID. Okay. So it will check for that 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCD. If it is found, then it will update that record. Else, it will insert the record. Since here it will be found, so it will update that record. Yeah, you can say that external ID, with the external ID, it's got updated. Now, suppose I change the external ID, so ABCD EF. If I make those changes, so what it will do, this is not found. So this is not found, what it will do, it will instead of upserting, it will do insert. Okay, so let debug execute anonymous, execute it, and then when I comes up here, I refresh it, I can see no changes happen in that. It means that it is checked that it's not found. So what it will do, it will insert a new record. You can see it's the new record got inserted, and it has the same details, and it has also the new external ID field value up here. So on the basis of that field, we can able to insert a record. We are able to insert a record on the basis of some other field. So whenever you need to update a record on the basis of some other field, so we can choose the upsert method, because update will only accept the ID. Apart from the ID, it will not accept any other field. update method will only work with the ID. But if you want to update on the basis of some other field that is a unique in that record, so you can use that we can use that upsert command for that field. For that, we can use the upsert to update a record. Let me check, might be because we have one more option available up here that says that suppose I have a text field called username. Okay, and I make this as a unique. I'm not making that as external ID, I'm making that as a unique. So and then when I compare where is the username? Why it's not showing? Visible to system admin, yeah, page layout. Username is present here, then we have an element. It's not showing here. Show me. Switch to classics. Okay. I'm pasting this here value. Okay. And I copy this. And let me update the record on the basis of a username. I need to check if it is possible. What is the username field?
What happens if it should be like unique field?
Yeah, it's a something like, yeah, I created a username as a unique field.
Okay.
I created as a username, so that's why I'm checking. Okay, so I just do that, and on the basis of unique field, I'm going to update. So it throws me either that it can be only a custom ID or indexed field, standard indexed field.
Index field means like number?
Index field, this one, this, you can see that, indexed, but it's only work with the standard indexed field. Means if I write this email, then it will work.
What is use of index in the field?
Indexing, it's a kind of that, it's usually, what is the use of index? We can say that it's only that it's located, means, how can I know exactly how we use the index, but it's only the thing, means I know why we use, means I know that why we are using indexing. It's help us to, first, it will helps to make the query faster and help us to identify the record. Usually it
keeps this record in a list of kind of index these records. Because of that, it's easier to reach those, right?
We can say that. Means it's only help us to query that I figure out. Means that's the thing. Means
can we change this username also to index? Like
no, if actually that for that we can make this. Whenever we make a field as a unique, then it automatically get indexed.
But it didn't get in.
But for Upstart, it will not help us to do that because it's a out. Where is my contact? Yeah, if I look at here, means since I make it username as a unique field, so it automatically get indexed. No issue in that. But it's not in use while making an update Upstart call. And since external ID is also a unique field, it's automatically get insert. It automatically get indexed. But it is usable because external ID is a property of it's a property that we can use the.
I mean, error message.
That we can't use that thing. That's why.
Your error message was
only external ID. Must be an external ID.
So or standard index field means
out of box fields. Okay, these are the out of box fields. These are the out of box fields, yeah, and these are the indexed field. So just like clean status, owner, record type, yeah, email, individual. These are the out of box fields which are indexed. And indexes, I'm not sure why. I'm just know that indexing are only used to make the query faster. It's only used to that thing, means to extract the record faster rather than the normal queries. Once we discuss about the SQL queries, then at that time we discuss about these things. But yeah, the only that thing that we are indexing, it's used for speed up the queries, means to make the query faster. That's the thing. So we will discuss about it later. So on the basis of email, we can update a field too. So here is an email that that is here, and let me, on the basis of email, let update. So now this record 1234 ABEF will got updated with Alan insert an email. Let me execute the command. What happened? One or more record found. Okay, duplicate external ID is found. Or let's comment this line. No issue to update. These two external IDs have the same email address. One or more record found for the external ID, and it has the same email address, so that's why it's causing issue. Let me find those records. So I will make changes over up here. It also had the same record. Now it's got changed. If I change one of them, so both of them will got changed. Okay, so that's it. Actually, two email addresses have the same values. That's why it's causing the issue. So it's got updated, and which record is updated? Which updated the ALE and U. No, on the basis of email. The email is parkerallen123.com, and which is let me switch back to the Lightning. This is not the stat record. It's 123 saying 123 this one. So you can see that it's got updated with email Parker, as I written up here. Suppose I make changes and new, and if I make changes in this email address, suppose I make it 4. So what it will do, that it will check for that Alan Parker at allen1234.com, and if it is not found, it inserts. So right now it's not found, and it will got inserted into the database. A record with the duplicates means might be, which record is duplicate? Right value username is duplicate. Oh, sorry. Let me remove that field. Actually, I make the field username as a unique. So let me remove. It's no issue. So that is not found, and it's created a new record with the Alan Packer 1234. And if I again come back and make changes, suppose that I make changes in here, phone number, and so, and do the same thing. I just leave as it is, and then I hit the execute the last statement. Means execute that command. What it will do that instead of phone number 88, it becomes 99. Yeah. So this is the way how the upsert is working. Okay, upsert. In order to do upsert, we have two options. Sorry, we have three options. Either do upsert on the basis of ID, either do upsert on the basis of any external field, or either do upsert on the basis of standard indexed field. So sorry, we have a three option that on which we are on the basis of that we can update a field, update a record, or update or insert, means update or insert a record into the Salesforce. Upserter is usually used in while we are working with the any external system. Means suppose an external system inserting a record into a database, into a Salesforce database. So at the same moment, he also wants to update the existing record. So at that time, he will use the upsert command. So upsert command, what he will do that he will just have to identify, he just have to put out that, hey, I want to update the record. I want to update the upsert record on the basis of this field. So it will automatically, Salesforce will automatically handle all the situation that it will find the record, and if that record match, it will update, else it will create a new record. These things automatically managed by the Salesforce, and you just have to put the field name. So usually the upsert is used whenever we have a whenever we are working with any external system. So that's the thing. And the last is that a delete. Delete requires nothing. It requires only one thing, that is ID. So whenever we need to delete a record, we just have to put ID and just hit the command delete.
On update, we can't use. Can we use standard index field on update also?
No.
Only ID on update.
Yeah, only ID.
Okay.
Okay. For delete, we just need only one field, which we called, and then I put let's delete this record. First, let me open this record so that you will see that where is that record. Okay, this is the contact record, and it should have to be deleted once I execute this command. It's executed, and if I refresh this record got deleted. So it's throwing an error, but this record is deleted. You can't see that record anymore in the database. So that is the thing that, and since we are learning about the delete records, let me switch back to classic. You can see that if I delete a record, it goes into this here. It goes into recycle bin. Okay, there is a term in the Salesforce called recycle bin. All the deleted records come up here in the recycle bin. Okay, which is for the 15 days it will still here. After the 15 days, Salesforce automatically empty the recycle bin. So I can also undelete the records. If I undelete the record, it will just again got inserted into this into the contact. Let's you can see that it's got again inserted. The advantage of this thing that Actually, it's not deleted, it's undeleted. The advantage of thing is that whenever it's not inserting, it's undeleting. Or always remember the difference between insert and undelete. Both looks like similar, but there is a one thing is that difference is that when we are inserting a record, what it will do that it will create a new ID for that record. Suppose this is the ID of that record, you know that. So whenever we are inserting a record, it will create a new ID for the record. And when we are undelete a record, what it will do, it will insert a record, that's correct. But the thing is that their ID remains same. Okay, means it's just whatever be the state of that record, it will means it will also maintain all the lookups, all the things that are all the things that all the things are still available. It's just undeleting that all those things. Okay, so it's just making a rollback, or we can say that it's just a rollbacking the what the changes that we have made. Okay, so there is a quite difference between insert and undelete. Both are looks like similar, but the might be someone asked that what is the difference between that. So the difference is only is that while we are inserting a record, we are inserting a fresh new record. And while we are undeleting a record, we are just rollbacking the changes. Means what we have just deleted a record, we are just rollbacking. So when we rollbacking, all the references, all the IDs will again roll back into the Salesforce. So that's the basic difference between the undelete and insert. Okay, so suppose let me create a new opportunity related to this contact and saving. Sorry. Okay, contact. Now I'm going to here and I'm going to delete this record. I execute it. Now this record got deleted. Okay. Now come up here and go to the recycle bin. I went to the recycle bin and refresh it, and I just undelete that thing. And I come up here, I refresh that field. Just I do nothing, I just refresh this thing. And what will we do that it's already all the records okay roll back, and the relationship that I made means I created a child record for this that is also get connected. So what I pointed say that whenever we are doing a rollback or whenever we are doing the undelete, so what it will do that it will just roll back all the changes that we have made during the delete. Means if you are it will roll back all the IDs, it will roll back all the relationship. So that's the thing that you have to know that basic means you will see that difference means while you are working, but you should know that what is the basic difference between undelete and undelete. So what is the basic difference between undelete and insert? Because it might be confusing. So that's why I just tell you that what is the basic difference between these two. Okay. So any questions? Today we actually just may summarize that so that we can ask questions. Okay. Today we discuss about that what's the S objects and how we get an S objects, how we create an S object instance. Currently we are using, or we can S objects because contact account are all are called as a S object. So we are creating a contact instance, and on that instance we are basically why we are creating an S objects or why we are working on the S objects, or so it's only we need to perform a DML operation on the cells into the Salesforce. So whenever we need to perform a DML operation into the Salesforce, we need that we need to take a help of a S object, so that with the help of a S object I will get an instance of that S object, or we can say the object. We can create an instance, and that instance contains all the information, all the field information that object have. So what do? We just follow what we just do the DML operation on that object, that we just put the values, whatever the values required. If it is a decimal, then if it is a what is that decimal, then we put the decimal values. If it's a string, then we put the string. If it's a lookup, then we put the ID. If it's a date, then we create a date instance. If it's a lead source, or sorry, if it is a pick list, then we put the pick list values. And if it is a checkbox, then we put the true and false values, all those things at the same in the same instance. And then we just have to write insert and then instance name, and it we got inserted into the database. At the same moment, we also discuss about that update. Update is required only one field, means while updating or update command, while executing an update command, only one thing is required, ID of that record. So we just put the ID of that record and we are able to update anything. And since lookup is also a thing that requires, whenever we create a relationship between two records, we need to do ID of that parent record. We need that ID of that parent record and put that ID of that into our lookup field, and then do the update. And what will we do that? It will just update the lookup value with the new parent record ID or with the new parent record. Okay. And then we discuss about that how we do the upsert command. Upsert command, upsert command gives us more flexibility than update command. It also gives an option that if we can update a record on the basis of external ID, or we can also update the record on the basis of any indexed field, any standard index field. But it does not give an option that we can update a record on the basis of a unique field. It will only give an option that we can update a record on the basis of an external field and indexed field, and also ID, because ID is the main unique field of our ID. And then for deletion of the record, we just need only one thing, that is ID of that record, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. We just need the ID and just hit the delete command. It's got deleted. Whenever we have to upsert a record on the basis of some other field, we need to write a field name apart with the instance of that object. Means whenever whatever be the instance we declare that, and then we have to also on which field, on the basis of which field check the uniqueness. It should be mentioned up here, so that it will check the uniqueness on the basis of that field. And you have also seen that if two fields have the same available same what is it? If the two fields if the two records have the same indexed value, as we can say that indexed value, because if you create this one, you can't create any duplicate record with the same thing. But in this case, you might be create the duplicate records. So at that time, it will throw an error that we can't update, because if we find more than one record, that it will throw an error that we need to change that, we need to differentiate, or we need to make that field to unique values, or we need to make that all the records which have all the records having same value, we need to make the unique value in that. So that's the thing comes with the while we are using an upsert command. Okay, so any questions? Now you can ask questions.
Suraj, when we getting external ID from the legacy system, so they have specific ID that we import from there to the Salesforce. That ID stays the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, we have to use this particular ID, so it doesn't have any internal Salesforce ID. So Salesforce, can Salesforce assign an ID and replace with the external one, or it must stay as with the external ID?
No, it's always stay as the external ID. It will not got replaced with the Salesforce ID.
Okay.
This language seems like a combination of SQL and Java, right? You're using queries in between SQL and upsert is SOQL language.
Upsert is it?
Is it SOQL language keyword or upsert?
Yeah, we can say that is a come from the SOQL, but SOQL is something different. You can say, you can say that SOQL is come from the SOQL. It belongs to SOQL, yeah.
Like insert, upsert.
Update, insert, update, delete. Yes, actually, this is the database concept. Means in any of the database that you have run, these commands are all available. Means insert, update, delete, and delete. Insert, update, upsert, delete. These are also, if you learn any, means if you look at any of the database, these 4 commands are available in that database.
So is it? I think like it's updating database directly with the insert keyword, right?
Yeah.
Suresh, in the case of upsert, as I understand, so you're checking only one field, right? Under a record. So if there is a difference between the original one and the one you want to change, and then it updates that single field, right?
No. If we are checking, suppose here I'm checking on the basis of email. If any different email found, it means that none of the records have this email, then this record got inserted to the Salesforce.
Okay, but under this record.
Yeah, but under this records, yeah. But under this record, it will create a fresh new record with all those values, with all these values.
If this email doesn't exist somewhere under any records, and then it inserts this record.
At that moment, it will insert this record as a fresh new record. It will get inserted into the Salesforce.
Okay, I see. So, but you're tracing this change through this email field.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay, thank you.
But again, if there is an also update on the last name or another field, it also update that, right? Instead of, and also besides replacing with the email, with the new email. It also, if there's another update within the another field, it also update that too, along with the replacing the email.
I'm not getting your question.
It doesn't exactly. Email.
If you try to change under this, in the case of this upsert coding part, you can put some other fields values, and if those are different from the original ones, and all of those different ones will be updated. If
yeah,
right.
If the email found, if the email match, then if any difference will found, then it will got updated. Yeah.
I think Richard meant this. Yeah.
Okay. So in above part, like line 59, if you change email, it will create a new, because you cannot at the same time locate record with email and change the email part. But if you want
in the same transaction cannot be happen. Yeah.
If you want to locate
another line with this, whatever, another, instead of like, if you want to change another, update another one or last name, you have to put, count object, last name, and then you have to go through based on that criteria, and then it will update and replaced.
I'm not getting your question exactly.
So I'm trying to understand that if there's like a one action, like email, right? Update email on the 62. So would there be an instance, there is an update and insert at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, it's 62 email means you are locating based on this email field. This record, we
are searching a record inside a Salesforce on the basis of this email field value.
Yeah, you are not like every other thing is changing, but only email is same because.
Oh, okay, it catches through the email. Okay.
Yeah.
It will check through the email.
Okay.
If it checks through the email, how about what is the purpose of external ID then?
It's an option. Means if we can check through the email, it's okay. We can check through the external ID, it's okay. It's an option that it will provide.
Meaning without external ID.
I'm talking about the diversity. Yeah, I'm talking about the diversity. Means these all things are available. You can choose anyone.
So okay, without external ID, it will work as well because you put email there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this email is the API name of the field, right?
Right. It's the API name of the field. Actually, it's out of box field, so it's email, is email, all of it. So every place it's called as email. Its label is also email, but here it's API name.
The only confusing part, line 59, it has like capital email. 62, it has lowercase email.
Oh, no issue. Actually, I just told you that Apex is case insensitive, so no issue in that.
Oh, okay. So they are
case insensitive. These are the same because it's case insensitive, so okay. No issue.
So we are giving this parameter as parkerallen124.com, and it's finding that record, and all other fields are being updated based on that. Even we can update external ID, email, everything, but we cannot only edit email because we are searching with the email.
On the basis of that email.
Yeah.
And if this email is not does not exist in the system, and then it creates a new record.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the update and the upsert, right?
Yeah, that is the difference between update and upsert.
Okay.
In update, we can only use ID also. Actually, only upsert we can use anything other than ID, right?
Yeah, correct.
Insert, update, and delete, we need only ID. Upsert, we can use three different options. Suraj, today your room was very quiet. You didn't background noises.
Yeah, I miss your dog. Where is your dog?
Exactly, where is he really?
Actually, it's not my dog. It's my neighborhood dog.
What happened to him?
I don't know. Might be there is a too cold, so he's sleeping.
When I hear your dog, I remember my kids' times, my grandma's house, the same situation every morning. The two dogs keep barking. But in the United States, I never hear it. If the dogs are barking, they think something happened to the dog. They bring the dog to the hospital.
Yes, but
so
here
you never hear.
No one gets panic.
Yeah, bring your dog sometimes. We miss you.
Actually, that dog has means on my car there is an antenna for the radio, and as he's eaten all the antenna. I got.
Even your dog is smart. He's playing his antenna.
That dog was my favorite. Don't forget it. He became very angry. Just like he just looked. Yeah. But seriously, all things made me very happy. Sorry for that, but it was he just go up and starting eating your antenna. Might be you didn't serve food. That's
we serve food to them, and we let them to enjoy their day. And actually, I just purchased the car, and it's 2 or 3 months older, and he just eaten all the dinner. I was way man.
Let's go.
Right, put some kind of hot pepper kind of jelly on your antenna next time he eats.
At least use it.